Jimmy had to interrupt Lois and Clark's perfect date to let them know that Toyman had hijacked Lord Entertainment Studios. He picked them up in a Daily Planet van. This was Perry White's apology to Jimmy for being wrong about the Superman situation. It's no helicopter, but it will do. Clark takes off his Armani suit and reveals his Superman suit underneath. Toyman had blurted out his name on the air, and it only took minutes for Lois to know everything about him. She tells Clark he is an immensely well man, and that he should be careful. Jimmy admits to being the biggest Superman fanboy at times, but if he ever became that overcompulsive, to please let him know. Toyman is back at Lord Entertainment Studios, still putting on a show for everyone that chooses to watch. He's sitting next to a petrified Maxwell Lord playing with two figurines. The things he claims were explosives, and they are. Toyman says people always wish for a god to come from above and save them, but when one does, you don't embrace him. Countries all around the world should lower their flags and raise the symbol of respect, pointing to the Superman logo on his shirt. The outside of the building are surrounded by SWAT and Metropolis police. Superman gets out of the van. He speaks to the police since they are trained professionals in situations like this. They are generous enough to give him the rundown, and he says, "Let me go talk to him." He walks in and tries to talk to Toyman. He didn't expect him to smile at the sight of him, and he runs up, giving him a hug, his toys still in hand. Mind you, this is all still being aired. Superman asks Toyman, "Why don't you just give me the explosives?" Again, to his surprise, he has zero problem doing this. Superman takes them and quickly hands them to the Metropolis bomb squad that are on standby. Maxwell Lord wastes no time on getting the hell out of there, running through the front door. Toyman sits on the ground with his legs crossed, inviting Superman to do the same. He does because he wants to be empathetic. Lois was correct. This was a very sick man. He was going to sit there and talk with him until the police arrived. Toyman leans over and confides in him, telling Superman that his parents always told him just to grow up and leave childlike things behind. Be the workforce, just like them. These corporate ladders are built off of souls. I didn't want to give mine. Superman hears a few explosives with his hearing. 3 buildings had gotten a bunch of these Superman dolls. Everyone found it funny, so no one questioned it. Now these 3 buildings were destroyed. LexCorp, Queen Industries, and Wayne Enterprises. All gone. Turned to ash. Few survivors. Toyman smiles and says playtime is important. Superman leaves in a hurry as Toyman escapes through the back. Lex had arranged a transport in the form of KG Beast. He burned everyone that was guarding the back door. Speaking of Lex, he's watching this from the White House. He's done an amazing job at splitting the opinion of Superman. The most wanted man in America has endorsed the man they look up to. He did this while wearing his logo. It was perfect. It did cost him his building, a place his father built. Minor cost. He had to make sure no one suspected him. All the media knows is Toyman acted alone, targeting the most successful enterprises stemming from his parents being overcompulsive workaholics. As the president, he gives a statement sending his condolences to all the families affected. His approval rating just raised, and they are saying it's a good thing he wasn't in LexCorp when that happened. The man who's being called Toyman will be brought to justice, he says. He's ordered a nationwide manhunt for Winslow. Superman flies to every location where there is an explosives to help, and every single time he's met with dirty looks, followed by, "You have done enough damage." No one is excited to see him. Superman has become the topic, not Toyman. Some are saying if it wasn't for Superman, this psycho wouldn't have been inspired. Not everyone thinks this way. Others remember all the good Superman has done. Over the next few days, there are no signs of Superman. Clark was on Jimmy Olsen's sofa trying to process this. He blames himself for what happened as Jimmy several times tries to tell him otherwise. Jimmy believes in Clark. He believes in Superman. He tells him, "You once told me your symbol means hope. Well, that's what people need right now." Clark and Jimmy get a visit from Lois, coffee in hand. She tells Clark he needs to stop feeling sorry for himself. She spreads some folders on a table with information about Toyman. She says Superman's the focus of this entire thing, but it shouldn't be. People need to be asking why. Someone already on the FBI's most watched list would even attempt something like this. She further explains it makes no sense that Toyman insisted on getting media attention, but what he was doing was not on camera. The bombings were not the focus, she says. You were. He looks through some papers and says no matter what his intentions were, I inspired him to do this. Lois says Superman needs to figure things out, but it's Clark that needs to get to work. She mentions there's an opening at the Daily Planet. I can tell you all the loops to go through, but I would take it if I were you. Clark does his interview with Perry, and it went well. He actually got sympathy for working for Maxwell Lord. He liked his writing as well, very to the point and honest. Lex and his scientists are in a secret lab underground as they are finishing the gateway. One of the best Luthor has, Ryan Chow, tells him calculations are correct. This will change things in science forever. Shrinking atoms, this might create Earth's first black hole, he says, his voice getting less excited when he says it out loud, like it's changing his mind if this was a good idea or not. They all stand in the back as Fleck flips a switch, creating a bright light inside the door. Oh, you all know what's gonna happen. Zod walks through the gateway with Fiora by his side. The soldiers that tried to shoot him are all dead. Then Zod punches them into a solid metal wall, leaving dents but major splats. Fiora and Zod have been trapped in the Phantom Zone for 30 years. The first sign of a way out, they took it. Lex's brilliance but curiosity had led him to something really bad here. Zod orders everyone to kneel.